Welcome to episode 2 of our Camino journey. We're starting in Sansol and heading west, of course. Some highlights include trying pinchos in Logroño, staying overnight in a ghost town, as well as learning the tale of the rooster in the cathedral of Santo Domingo, and so much more.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Bonjour. We are on day 8 on our Camino journey. It is very windy right here. We just left the town of Torre del Rio and we are headed for Viana. Today we are going 21k or about 14 miles. Yesterday, the scenery on the walk was just breathtaking. Out here in the wine country, the Navarra region of Spain, it's just so many beautiful flowers in springtime, and the vistas were just outstanding. We ended up getting to a town called Sansol, which was up on a hill. Just you could see it from quite a few miles away as we were walking towards it. Just a wonderful walk. Feet are still sore, but and the shoulders are still sore as well. But for the most part, Amanda and I have been doing really pretty well. She's got some blisters on her feet. A couple of them she's working on. But the place we stayed was just amazing. It was this completely renovated, large farmhouse that had been built in 1702. A fella that bought the property in the 60s, and it was really quite dilapidated, and eventually he sold it, and then he got re-inspired later in the 1990s and bought it again for 30,000 euros. It was very inexpensive for this just massive place, but it was completely falling apart. So for the next 8 years he invested $1 million and completely renovated the place, and it was amazing. And Amanda and I were up in the top of it, and it was just a super comfortable, quiet room. Had a nice terrace. The views from there were just amazing of the surrounding area. So it was just a fabulous place to be. We had a lovely group dinner, and it was just awesome. Memorial for people that have been lost. Fresh cut grass is super nice. The weather's turned just very good this afternoon. Good afternoon. It's about almost 4 o'clock. We had a good night last night. We ended up staying in a pension, which Basically, there's all these different types of accommodations: hostels, pensions, albergues, hotels, etc. And we've been mixing it up, staying between guest houses, which basically have like 3 rooms and a private bathroom typically, maybe breakfast. The pension was basically a place that everything was self-check-in, and we got in there and it had a shared bathroom, but you had your own room. So there were like 4 rooms in there up in this really old building in Logroño. We had a good night's sleep, and this morning found a really nice cafe before getting out of town, and it was fresh squeezed orange juice. So it was nothing out of a bottle. It was oranges being crushed by this really friendly fellow. Last night we went down to Calle de Laurel in Logroño, and that's where they have, they're famous for pinchos, which seem to me are a variant of tapas, but basically the individual items that you get. And we had this, we went to a couple different places and the food was just amazing. And then the wine, we tried a white and a red local wine, and they were inexpensive for a glass and really quite tasty. Logrono out in the distance. That's where we just came from. Amanda and our friend Patrina from New Zealand are coming up there. Going to Cirueña today. We have a 15.5 mile hike ahead of us. Through a town of Nájera. We had a wonderful lunch there, big mixed salad, and these pork dishes, really good. Last night we thought in Ventosa it was going to be very rustic because it's quite a small town, but it was really nice, and the proprietor of the albergue we stayed at was a lot of fun, very engaging. He ended up having 4 little pizza ovens, so the restaurant in town, we missed it by about a half an hour to get food, so he was making tons of pizzas for people, so that's what we had for dinner last night. The Camino is actually very well marked with arrows and little signposts kind of things with the Camino scallop shell on it. You do have to pay attention through towns a little bit better. Amanda and I have both gotten off track sometimes, but for the most part, it's really pretty easy to get around. Today, it's turned into a hot day this afternoon. I think it's supposed to be in the low 80s. So now it's time for shorts. And obviously, I've been wearing the sun hoodie a lot because it's nice and sunny. The area that we're going through just in Nájera, we're still seeing the wineries, but it seems like it's getting drier, and it almost seems like we're in Moab, Utah with the the red rock out here and just the drier conditions that we seem to be getting into. We made it to Cirueña. We started in Ventosa this morning, and we are now here after 15.5 miles. We had quite a climb to get up here, and then a nice little relaxation bench up at the top with some cold water. So we have made it. There's Miss Amanda.
Hello, hello.
She has arrived, and we are happy campers. And oddly enough, there's a driving range and a golf course out there in this town. Pretty interesting. So we're heading to our albergue. As you can see here, the views are just incredible. We had a great day yesterday. We did meet a couple, Frida and Fabio from Italy, and they are actually traveling with their 2 dogs, Mela and Pablo. 2 wonderful doggies, and of course we miss our dogs, and it was fun to talk to them. They started in St. John with their 2 dogs, and they're actually camping out. So they're in a 2-person tent with 2 dogs, and they're camping on the church properties with the dogs, and it's quite an adventure they're on. But it got really hot yesterday, so there were a couple times we passed them, and they were in the in the shade with their dogs. With some of the fountains, they're labeled as agua potable, which is some form of being treated coming out of the fountain, or not necessarily potable, and so we're trying to pay attention to that. Some people have said the non-treated water is totally fine. Maybe it is, but I don't think we're gonna take the chance. So today we are on the way to Villa La Rioja. We've got about a 12.5 mile day ahead of us here, so it's not as substantial as what we've been doing the last couple of days. So in theory, it's going to be a shorter day. We've got a nice pleasant morning going here. Not too hot yet, but it's going to get a high of about 78 Fahrenheit by later today. So yesterday when it got so hot, we finally found a break in the shade, poured water on. There's a small waterfall, and put our feet in the cold water for 10-15 minutes, and that helped a whole bunch in terms of getting some relief. When we got to Cirueña last night, it was probably about 5:30 we got to town, and it was just the most bizarre thing. I haven't really seen anything like it before. There were probably 50 to 75 different buildings, condos. There were probably 2,000-3,000 condos near the golf course that were built out in town, totally developed. Some of them look quite old, others were newer, but they were all completely vacant other than a few tenants here and there. It was almost like a weird ghost town. Somebody put a huge investment into building out the town, and then there's nobody there. So it's very weird. And then we got to the old town, and it was very hard to find the albergue. It was kind of down this side road, and it was pretty well signed, but it was tough. So we're getting nervous. We're going to be sleeping maybe in the chicken coop for the night or something like that. But we finally found it, and Francisco and his wife, who are the proprietors, probably in their early 70s, were super nice, and we spoke Spanish the whole time, and Had a lovely night at their place and this albergue. We had a private room last night, which is nice. And now we are off for today. There's Santo Domingo out in the distance, and it looks close, but it's a couple miles away still, so. Highway here, that happens sometimes along the route. But, Logroño is up ahead. Again, it looks like it's right there, but it's a little ways away still. But that's going to be our stop for lunch for today. Closing in on Villafranca up here ahead. That's where we're going to stay tonight. It's been very hot again this afternoon. Amanda ended up the last few miles grabbing a cab. She was just getting overheated, and I'm pretty hot myself. I've been throwing cold water on my head in my hat, and that's helped a lot. So it's good to be getting to town here. It's been a great day so far. Gonna get into town before 5, which is great. We've been kind of coming in a bit later lately, but I think this is it. Close enough. Anyway, so definitely glad to be getting in here. Amanda said we're in a lovely place tonight in an albergue, and I'm sure there'll be a great dinner as well. So I be here. Buenos dias. Good morning. The place we stayed at last night, Orietta y Asianos albergue, was just amazing. It's like some sort of peaceful oasis with Zen-like music, a very quiet place. It was seating for about 9 of us, and Orietta was the one cooking. She told a lot of interesting stories about being on the Camino. They've been doing either volunteer work or running their own albergue for over 20 years here in Spain. They're originally from Brazil, I guess via Italy. And it was just really a great place. We met one young American, 26 years old. He's doing 40 to 50K miles, or 40 to 50K kilometers per day. People from all over the world. One guy from Estonia riding his bike on the Camino, and he started in Barcelona, so he's already done hundreds of miles to get onto the Camino. Exciting time. So anyway, it was a restful night's sleep. Today we are going to Villafranca. It's about 12 and a half miles and 1,000 feet elevation gain. Yes, hallelujah! It's time for desayuno, breakfast. We are hungry people, ready to get some Camino food. Hola. back there. Hello! And we are heading to Villafranca. We got about 5K to go, 3.2 miles. Yesterday, one of the places we went to was Santo Domingo. And Santo Domingo was alive about 1,000 years ago. And he's really considered a saint for that time. He did a lot to help with the pilgrims that came through. One of the stories that came about was there was a young boy who was accused of stealing silver, and so he was in the middle of being hung for that, and Santo Domingo came by and lifted him up to save him, and then the boy was brought in front of a judge, and there were some dead chickens on a plate. And during the trial, it was said if the chickens get up and come alive, then the boy should be saved and let go. And all of a sudden, the chickens came alive, and so he was free. So we toured the Santo Domingo Cathedral, which was massive, had all these individual areas for prayer and doing masses and so on. But they also have what they say from 900 to 1,000 years ago. Over all those hundreds of years, they've preserved generation on generation chickens from then. And so there's a rooster that was in the cathedral. Santo Domingo is actually interred there. Going up to the bell tower here. It's I don't know. It's a lot of stairs. We toured the bell tower. We went up. There's 135 steps. There's a fellow from Holland that counted all the steps going up there. We had our packs off, thankfully, because that would have been a heck of a climb. You get up there, and the views of the city were amazing. They actually had down below in courtyard, it had examples of the equipment they used to create these massive bells. I was a little nervous being up there. Thankfully, it was about 11:35, so it was before noon, because if those bells go off when you're up there, boy, I don't think you'd have any hearing left. But anyway, so we had a wonderful visit. During that visit, there were big explosions because there was some 5-day fiesta going on in Santo Domingo. Yeah, the storm is starting to blow over here. Thunder and lightning's finally settling down, but it is raining like crazy here. The trail has turned into a bit of a stream now, but the rain's lightened up and we've got some blue sky up there. So worst of the storm is behind us now, and we are almost to our place in Villafranca for the night. Woohoo!